It happened so fast I didn't even have time to breathe. 1 second, I was standing beside my sister at her engagement party, smiling for photos under those golden fairy lights. The next, she was turning to the crowd, tears streaming down her cheeks, saying, "I can't believe my own sister would try to steal my fiancé." The room froze. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Every pair of eyes snapped toward me. My heart dropped so hard it hurt. At first I thought she was joking. Some twisted attempt at humor. But then her voice broke, trembling. "You think I don't see the way you look at him? The way you text him when I'm not around?" Gasps echoed like gunfire. Someone dropped a glass. My mom's face went pale. My dad muttered my name like a question he didn't want answered. And her fiancé. He didn't say a word. He just stared at me, stunned, maybe even guilty. I tried to speak, to say something, anything. But my voice came out cracked and small. "What are you talking about?" I whispered. "That's not true." She turned away dramatically, sobbing into her friend's arms. "You always wanted what's mine," she cried. "You couldn't stand that I finally found someone who chose me over you." And just like that, the story was written. I was the villain, and she was the poor, betrayed bride-to-be. Whispered rumors swirled around the room like smoke. "Did you hear? Her own sister?" Unbelievable. I felt the ground tilt beneath me, like reality itself had betrayed me. But what none of them knew, not even her precious fiancé, was that my sister was the real snake in this story. Growing up with my sister, Lily was like living under a spotlight that never pointed my way. She was the golden child, bright smile, perfect grades, the kind of charm that could melt anyone. Teachers adored her. Neighbors called her the perfect daughter. And me? I was the quiet one, the helper, the one who picked up the pieces after Lily's messes but somehow was always blamed for breaking things. When we were little, it started small. She'd borrow my favorite toys, then cry to our mom that I never shared. In high school, she'd steal my clothes, my makeup, even my friends, and somehow twist it so I looked possessive or jealous. I didn't fight back. I told myself she just wanted to be close to me. That's what sisters do, right? But Lily had a talent. She could play the victim better than anyone. If she got caught lying, she'd cry until people felt guilty for doubting her. If I defended myself, I was overreacting. Eventually, I stopped trying. It was easier to let her win. By college, her manipulation was art. She'd charm professors, flirt with guys I liked, and then laugh it off as coincidence. "You're too sensitive," she'd say, rolling her eyes. "Don't make everything about you." And every time, I'd swallow my pride and believe her. Because deep down, I didn't want to lose her. Our parents never saw it. They thought Lily was flawless, the kind of daughter you brag about. And I played my part too. The quiet, dependable one who didn't cause drama. But inside, resentment simmered. I kept waiting for her to grow up, to realize how much she hurt me. She never did. Still, I stayed loyal. I cheered her on when she landed her dream job. I helped plan her engagement party. I told myself she just wanted attention, that she'd never cross a real line. But I was wrong. I thought she just wanted attention, until she wanted something, or someone, that was mine. I met Daniel long before Lily ever knew his name. He was part of our college friend group, the kind of guy who made everyone laugh without trying too hard. We clicked instantly, but not in a romantic way. He was just easy to be around. We studied together, grabbed coffee sometimes, joked about our terrible dating luck. That was it, just friends. A few months later, I introduced him to my family during a game night. Lily happened to be there, all smiles and charm as usual. She made a comment about how cute he was, and I laughed it off. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? But within weeks, she was suddenly dating him. "It just happened," she told me, pretending to be shy. "We just clicked." I swallowed my shock and smiled, pretending to be happy for them. If she liked him, fine. I could deal with that. I told myself it didn't matter who met him first. I wasn't interested anyway. They got serious fast. Within a year, he proposed, and the whole family was thrilled. Everyone called them the perfect couple. I was even asked to be her maid of honor. But then, the whispers started. One of Lily's friends pulled me aside at brunch, her tone dripping with pity. "You really shouldn't text him so much. People are starting to talk." I blinked, confused. Text him? About what? Apparently there were rumors I was too close, that I was flirting behind Lily's back. Someone even claimed they'd seen me hugging him outside a coffee shop, which never happened. It didn't take long to realize who was feeding those lies. Lily. She was doing it again, rewriting the story so she could play the victim and make me the villain. And she was good at it. My parents started looking at me differently. My mom asked softly if I was maybe sending mixed signals. My dad said I should keep some distance from my own friend. I tried to laugh it off, to act like it didn't hurt, but it did. It broke something in me. Still, I would have stayed quiet until I found out what she did to me first. I met Daniel long before Lily ever knew his name. He was part of our college friend group, the kind of guy who made everyone laugh without trying too hard. We clicked instantly, but not in a romantic way. He was just easy to be around. We studied together, grabbed coffee sometimes, joked about our terrible dating luck. That was it, just friends. A few months later, I introduced him to my family during a game night. Lily happened to be there, all smiles and charm as usual. She made a comment about how cute he was, and I laughed it off. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? But within weeks, she was suddenly dating him. It just happened, she told me, pretending to be shy. We just clicked. I swallowed my shock and smiled, pretending to be happy for them. If she liked him, fine. I could deal with that. I told myself it didn't matter who met him first. I wasn't interested anyway. They got serious fast. Within a year, he proposed, and the whole family was thrilled. Everyone called them the perfect couple. I was even asked to be her maid of honor. But then, the whispers started. One of Lily's friends pulled me aside at brunch, her tone dripping with pity. You really shouldn't text him so much. People are starting to talk. I blinked, confused. Text him? About what? Apparently there were rumors I was too close, that I was flirting behind Lily's back. Someone even claimed they'd seen me hugging him outside a coffee shop, which never happened. It didn't take long to realize who was feeding those lies. Lily. She was doing it again, rewriting the story so she could play the victim and make me the villain. And she was good at it. My parents started looking at me differently. My mom asked softly if I was maybe sending mixed signals. My dad said I should keep some distance from my own friend. I tried to laugh it off, to act like it didn't hurt, but it did. It broke something in me. Still, I would have stayed quiet until I found out what she did to me first. Before Daniel, there was Mark. He wasn't just some boyfriend. He was the person I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. We dated for 3 years. He knew everything about me. My fears, my dreams, the way I snort when I laugh too hard. He met my family, came to birthdays, even helped my dad fix the fence one summer. Everyone adored him, including Lily. Then one day he just vanished. No fight, no warning. One night we were planning a weekend trip, and the next, he stopped replying to my texts. His number went straight to voicemail. When I showed up at his apartment, his roommate told me he'd needed space. I was heartbroken and humiliated. I told myself he was going through something, that maybe it wasn't about me, but in the back of my mind, I knew something didn't add up. For months, I replayed everything, trying to see where I went wrong. I never got closure, just silence. Eventually, I forced myself to move on. I buried the pain, told everyone I was fine. Then, about a year later, I was visiting my parents' house. Lily was there too, scrolling through her old phone because her new one had died. She got up to grab something from the kitchen and left it on the couch. I wasn't snooping, I swear I wasn't. But the screen lit up with a backup chat notification, and I saw a name I hadn't seen in a year, Mark. My chest tightened. My hands trembled as I opened the thread. It wasn't just friendly messages. There were pictures, voice notes, late-night I miss yous, all time-stamped around the time he ghosted me. And then I saw it, her words. You can't tell her about us yet. She wouldn't understand. I couldn't breathe. My own sister, the person who cried with me when he disappeared, had been sleeping with him the whole time. The phone slipped from my hands and hit the floor with a dull thud. I dropped her phone, and my world shattered. But what came next would make her regret everything. I sat in my childhood bedroom that night, staring at the glow of Lily's old phone in my hands. Every message burned a new hole in my chest. The woman who told the world I tried to steal her fiancé had slept with my boyfriend while I was still with him. The irony was almost laughable, if it hadn't hurt so much. I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, numb, scrolling through the filth. The excuses, the plans, the guilt disguised as passion. Every timestamp lined up perfectly with the weeks Mark started pulling away. I realized she hadn't just betrayed me. She'd taken something that was mine, destroyed it, and then painted herself as my victim. Part of me wanted to storm downstairs, throw the phone at her, and watch her perfect mask crack in front of everyone. But another part of me, the part that had spent years being quiet, being small, being blamed, decided differently. No. This time I wouldn't give her another scene to twist. This time, I'd let her dig her own grave. So, I started collecting everything. Screenshots of messages, voice recordings, even old photos from Mark's Instagram that matched the dates in their chats. Every piece of proof went into a neatly labeled folder on my phone. I backed it all up, twice, and then I smiled. I played the perfect sister, helped with her dress fittings, gushed over flower choices, held her hand when she cried about pre-wedding stress. Everyone said I was such a supportive maid of honor, the kind of sister every bride dreams of. I even helped plan her bridal shower, knowing exactly what I'd bring to the party. Each fake laugh, each polite compliment, was another layer of calm before the chaos I was about to unleash. I wasn't acting out of spite anymore. I was acting out of justice. After all those years of being her scapegoat, she was finally going to meet the truth face to face. By the time her bridal shower arrived, I wasn't just the bridesmaid. I was the storm she never saw coming. The bridal shower looked like something out of a magazine. Pastel balloons, glittering champagne glasses, and Lily glowing in the center of it all. She was radiant, basking in the love and attention she thought she deserved. Her friends circled her like petals around a flower, laughing, taking selfies, calling her the luckiest bride ever. I stood quietly at the edge of the room, clutching my glass, smiling just enough to blend in. On the outside, I was the perfect sister, composed, supportive, proud. On the inside, my pulse thrummed like thunder. I had rehearsed this moment 100 times in my head, and now it was finally here. When it was time for speeches, Lily insisted I go first. "You're my maid of honor," she said sweetly, handing me the mic. "You've always been my rock." I wanted to laugh. Instead, I smiled. I started soft, talking about our childhood, about sisterhood, about how proud I was of her. I even threw in a joke about how we used to fight over clothes but always made up in the end. The crowd laughed, hearts warmed. Even Lily teared up, reaching for a tissue. Then I paused. "But before we toast," I said, voice calm but sharp enough to cut through the air, "I think it's time we're honest." For once, confused whispers rippled through the room. Lily frowned. "What are you doing?" she whispered, still smiling for the cameras. I lifted my phone, tapped the screen, and the TV behind us flickered to life. A slideshow appeared. Screenshots, messages, photos, Lily's number, Mark's name, the dates, the timestamps, the words, "You can't tell her about us yet." The room erupted. Gasps, screams, a glass shattered. Her friends froze mid-sip, staring in disbelief. Lily's face drained of color, her perfect makeup cracking under the fluorescent lights. Daniel, her fiancé, stood frozen, staring at the TV, his jaw locked tight. Then he turned to her slowly, like seeing her for the first time. "Is this real?" he asked, his voice breaking. And just when I thought it couldn't get messier, her fiancé opened his mouth. For a moment, no one moved. The room was dead silent, except for the soft hum of the TV still flashing Lily's messages with my ex. Then Daniel ran a hand through his hair and let out a low, bitter laugh. "You know what's crazy?" he said, staring straight at her. I already knew. Every head in the room snapped toward him. Lily blinked, trembling. What are you talking about?" He exhaled, shaking his head. "I saw those messages months ago. You forgot to log out of your iCloud on my laptop. I saw everything. The texts, the pictures, the dates. I knew you slept with her ex while you two were still together." A stunned murmur spread through the crowd. My stomach dropped. He knew? "I should have ended things then," he went on, his voice cracking. "But I told myself you'd changed. That maybe you were just drunk or confused. I didn't want to start a war between you and your sister. So I stayed quiet, tried to move past it." He looked at me then, guilt written all over his face. I thought keeping the peace was better than telling the truth. I was wrong. Lily's jaw trembled as she reached for him. "Daniel, please," he stepped back. "Don't. You lied to everyone, including yourself. You made her the villain for something you did." The tension snapped like glass. Her friends backed away. My mom covered her mouth. My dad muttered something under his breath that sounded like a prayer. Then Lily broke. Full sobs, mascara streaking down her face. "You don't understand!" she screamed. She was always perfect. Everyone loved her. I just wanted something for myself. But no one moved to comfort her. For once, every eye in the room saw her clearly. Not the angelic sister, not the innocent bride, but the manipulator she'd always been. Daniel took off his ring and set it on the table with a soft clink. "We're done," he said simply, and walked out. Lily collapsed to the floor, sobbing. I should have felt triumphant, vindicated. But all I felt was hollow. I thought I'd finally won, until I got the text that changed everything again. A week passed, but the echoes of that night still clung to everything. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages. Friends, family, people I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions. Some said they were proud of me for standing up for myself. Others whispered that I'd gone too far, that I'd ruined her life. Then, one night, Lily's name appeared on my screen. The message was long, pages of it. It started with an apology, or at least something that sounded like one. She said she was sorry things turned out this way, sorry that I felt hurt. But halfway through, it shifted, blaming me. She said I'd taken her happiness, that I'd humiliated her in front of everyone, that I could have handled it privately if I'd really cared. I stared at her words for a long time. They were so familiar. The same cycle of guilt and gaslighting she'd used on me my entire life. Only this time I didn't respond. I blocked her number, deleted her message, and finally, felt a small piece of peace. Mark, my ex, reached out too. He wrote a short apology, said he'd made a terrible mistake, that he never meant to hurt me. I didn't reply. Some things don't deserve closure. Daniel moved out of town a few weeks later. My parents barely spoke for days after the bridal shower. My mom blaming me for the spectacle. My dad saying it was about time the truth came out. Everything was quieter now. The chaos had ended, but the silence it left behind was heavy. Because betrayal doesn't just break trust. It leaves an echo. And yet sometimes late at night I still wonder, did I go too far? People think revenge feels sweet, like some kind of justice that fixes everything. But the truth, it doesn't. It's quiet, heavy. It leaves you standing in the ruins of what used to be your life, wondering when everything started burning. I used to think keeping the peace made me strong. That silence was maturity, but silence only ever protected her. The liar, the manipulator, the one who built her happiness out of my pain. And every time I stayed quiet, I gave her more power to rewrite my story. When I finally spoke up, it wasn't about payback. It was about survival, about looking in the mirror and not seeing someone who just let herself be destroyed again. People can twist your words, but proof, the truth, that's something they can't erase. I've learned that toxic people will always play the victim. They'll rewrite history until you start questioning your own memory. They'll make you feel guilty for defending yourself, as if standing up for your sanity is cruelty. But it's not. It's self-respect. I lost a sister, a boyfriend, and half my family's trust in the process. But I gained something that's worth more. Peace. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't beg to be believed. So to anyone watching this who's stuck in someone else's shadow, being blamed for things you didn't do, speak. Even if your voice shakes. Even if they call you cruel for telling the truth. Because some secrets destroy families. But sometimes, exposing the truth is the only way to save yourself from becoming the villain in someone else's lie.